What is going on, everybody? It's the France and we here for unscripted review for Raw for your February 24th, 2020. We are on the road to WrestleMania. If anybody's watching Super Letdown on Thursday, this was the go-home show for that, for Raw. This show's ending was stupid. We had a fantastic opening promo between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. And Aleister Black plus and Eric Rowan went one-on-one again, which was not a bad match, and would lead to a better match next week, which we'll get to in a bit. But the ending, because of the promo we had at the beginning of the show, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens had a one-on-one match at the end of the show. So WWE, Vince McMahon loves doing fuck finishes and screw job finishes in Canada. He can't get over it. He's obsessed with it. That's why we had the original screw job. Well, there's another reason we had the original screw job. We had another screw job in 2002, I believe it was, at No Way Out. You had Charlotte versus Natalya, when Natalya was put into a sharpshooter or put into the figure eight and didn't tap out but got hit with a screw job. There was tonight. There's other instances too that I can't think of off the top of my head, but Vince McMahon just can't go to Canada without doing some kind of screwy finish like they did tonight. So we have the Messiah gimmick. So somehow, some way, some bum who is a follower of Seth Rollins infiltrates WWE personnel and puts on a referee shirt and has the main event spot as a referee in the main event match to screw over Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins acts like he had nothing to do with it. And then Kevin Owens rips the referee shirt, and what's underneath? A Monday Night Messiah shirt. This was so fucking stupid. Yes, Kevin Owens hit the bum with the stunner and then powerbombed him through the table. But that doesn't take away from the point, but this was fucking stupid. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre are the only ones right now putting Monday Night Raw on their backs to get it to WrestleMania. Everything else on the show, including Becky. I guess I could say Shayna Baszler too. I say, so Shayna Baszler, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton are the three people who are putting Raw on their backs and get it to WrestleMania. Because Brock and Paul Heyman sure as hell ain't doing it. Becky's star power is fading fast. WrestleMania can't come soon enough. Because apparently her and Seth Rollins are going to be taking time off to, one, get married, and two, get a break from wrestling, which they need to. And nobody else on this show we should care about. Now, the show starts off at the Bell MTS Place in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, home of the Winnipeg Jets. And Randy Orton comes out. It has been they go to the show while he's making his way into the ring. It has been said that on tonight's show we would have a contract signing for the Elimination Chamber show. Okay, what's this match going to have a contract signing for? The 6-woman Raw Elimination Chamber match. When was the last time an Elimination Chamber match had a contract signing? Why does an Elimination Chamber match have a contract signing in the first place? This was fucking stupid. The only thing that saved this was Shayna Baszler, and we'll get to that later. Plus, Seth Rollins versus Montez Ford and Buddy Murphy versus Angelo Dawkins. Now, this is reverse what WWE likes to do. This would be like, let me think here. We would have Ricochet and, let's see. Drew McIntyre, you would have, say if AEW was doing this going into their show, you would have Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara take on Darby Allin and Jon Moxley in a tag team match, because both of those two teams are going to be having matches at Revolution, but we got to hype the show up. This is the opposite of that. Instead of having tag teams form, we're going to split them apart to have one-on-one matches. Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy are singles wrestlers thrown as a tag team. Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford are not tag team wrestlers. But Orton does take the mic and he says he needs to apologize Fans boo him loudly. He admits his emotions have become unbalanced as of late. Says he arrived to the building today and was told it's been 15 years since Raw was hosted in Winnipeg. Orton says he was 24 then. He did some digging, and on that Raw, he was a WWE Intercontinental Champion, and on that Raw, he was punched by a certain man. A man who would eventually save him from himself, who would eventually look up to and love like a brother. His name was Adam, but we all call him Edge. Orton says if Edge was here tonight, he would. Fans interrupt with a loud "We want Edge" chant for the Hall of Famer. Orton says Edge can't be here tonight because of what Orton did to him almost a month ago. Fans boo louder. Orton knows fans can't understand what he did to Edge. He says he's truly sorry for what he did. From the bottom of his heart, out comes Kevin Owens. Now, 15 years ago, yeah, that would be 2005. And that was, 2005, that would have been around the time that Randy Orton and Edge were feuding for the Intercontinental Championship. So, yeah, because it wasn't 15 years to the day, but it was in 2005 when Edge and Randy Orton feuded over the Intercontinental Championship. So, so that just is coincidental. That builds into the storyline and is something that you don't see WWE get every so often. So I appreciate the fact that they brought up something that happened 15 years ago. Fans champ Owens mentions his recent problems with Raw Tag Team Champions Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy in the AOP, but he's putting that to the side tonight because he has a problem with Orton. Owens doesn't believe Orton's apology. He wants to know why Orton attacked Edge. Orton says you don't want to go down that road, Owens. Owens says he does. He says he hated to watch Edge retire because he was in the Indies. He was wrestling and grinding to get to WWE. And he was sitting at home when Edge retired. And it sucked because it took away from guys like Owens who wanted to get to WWE and get in the ring with Edge. And that was taken away. That was taken away and was probably never going to happen. But then the Royal Rumble happened this year. Fans say Owens says to look and see Edge get back into what he loves and to know he could possibly wrestle him one day. Then Orton took that all away the next night. Owens is going to ask one more time, why did you do it? Orton says Owens doesn't know him. Edge thought he knew him too. Owens says he's right. He doesn't know Orton, but he knows people who are tired of hearing them talk and they just want to see them fight. He drops the mic and calls Orton out. Fans pop and Orton gets hyped up and accepts the challenge. Like, you want to do this tonight? You know what? You're on. Just not right now. Drops the mic, ducks out of the ring, and that was him leaving. Fans boo. He exits. His music starts up, and then it stops, and then Owens poses the crowd as his music goes on. So that was that. That would be your main event for the night. So, good. I can do these promos no justice, but this was a good promo. Orton just bringing back a memory for something that happened 15 years ago. Kevin Owens not buying the bullshit coming from Randy Orton and going to eventually get us to a match later in the night. And what Owens said about what happened in 2011. Yes, he was on the Indies. He was in Ring of Honor. He was trying to get to WWE. He's been trying to get to WWE probably since his career started. And to see a guy like Edge, who he looked up to, a fellow Canadian, who he wanted to get in the ring with one day, and seeing that retirement happen in 2011, which I did not get to see live because the job I was at the time, I had to watch Monday Night Raw after I got off work, which is right after the show went off the air. So I didn't get to see Edge make this retirement speech. I had to watch it later, but I had my phone at the time, and I was checking the results just to see what was going on, and it said that Edge had to retire, and it sucked that I had to sit there and go through work because I couldn't see this. It was emotional to see when I got home that night to see what Edge said and what everything was going on. But yeah, I understand that Owens wanted to be one of those guys to take on Edge, and Edge in his prime, Owens would have been fucking fantastic. Maybe it could still happen now that Edge is back, which, by the way, it has not been officially announced, but wherever they're at on the 9th of March, the day after the Elimination Chamber, is advertising Edge's return, which makes sense because that would be a couple weeks before WrestleMania, and we need to build to that match and make that match official for WrestleMania. So Edge will be making his return the night after the Elimination Chamber, which, by the way, next week, Monday Night Raw, Elimination Chamber Go-Home Show. Do you see what these Saudi Arabian shows are a problem? We are a week away from the Go-Home Show of the Elimination Chamber. We have one match announced for the Elimination Chamber, and that's the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Nothing else has been announced. We'll have more announcements. We'll have the entire card thrown together between this coming Friday and next Monday, which I fully expect John Cena to be in the Elimination Chamber. But that's a story for a different time. Charlie Cruz is backstage with Angel Garza and Zelina Vega. They're confident about Garza going up against Humberto Carrillo. Vega says nothing is stopping Garza from going to the top in WWE. They also stress the relationship is all business. Caruso thanks Vega for the interview and shakes her hand, but she looks annoyed as hell. Garza she shakes Garza's hand and he says, "Business can mix with pleasure, and with you, Charlie, it's always a pleasure. Business is always a pleasure," and he gives her a kiss on the hand. And Charlie just has this biggest smile on her, like she just has this biggest, like she's glowing. She gets this big smile. Just like, oh, he thinks I'm cute and everything or whatever, and it just looks so stupid. Yes, it's all about money, it's all about everything. I just find it funny how WWE is playing up this ladies man gimmick for Angel Garza when they have video footage that they showed right after he won the Cruiserweight Championship down in NXT about 2 months ago of him winning the title. And then during the commercial break, getting on one knee and asking his girlfriend to marry him. But now you want to make him look into this ladies' man who no woman can tie him down. No married man for this guy. Like, come on. Out comes Angel Garza and Zelina Vega. Out comes Humberto Carrillo. It was confirmed that Orton and Owens for later in the night. This was a good match. These two guys went out there and kicked their asses, beat each other up. This was fun. These guys just never disappoint. And on top of that, Angel Garza wins with a struggling, like they're going back and forth towards the end, trading around, like rolling around, trying to pin each other, and Angel Garza gets a pin, holds the tights a little bit, I believe, 1, 2, 3, and gets the win. Humberto Carrillo looks like a loser again. However, next week, Andrade makes his return at Super Showdown. He's officially unsuspended. He can wrestle again. He'll be at Super Showdown in that gauntlet. But next week, it's Humberto Carrillo and Rey Mysterio also making his return next week versus Angel Garza and Andrade. That should be a good match. Will it be? I don't know if I should know because WWE's booking practices, but I think that should be a hell of a match if they give him the chance. Ricochet versus Luke Gallows. Last week he took on Carl Anderson. This week he's taking on Luke Gallows. For the hell of it. This is supposed to be the best tag team in the world. What is their trophy? Where the hell did that go to? Did it get destroyed? Did I miss or something? Ricochet wins this match with a nice, beautiful shooting star. Shooting star press. Gallows was in the middle of the ring on his back. Ricochet goes up to the top, hits the shooting star press. 1, 2, 3. Wasn't that good? It wasn't that bad of a match, but this team is supposed to be the greatest tag team in the world by WWE standards. They, in back-to-back weeks, get beat by Ricochet. One guy in back-to-back weeks with no help, mind you. People are like, oh, but Morrison did the same thing with the New Day a couple weeks ago. What are you talking about? Morrison had the Miz's help. Ricochet, on his own, beat Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows back-to-back weeks. Does anyone else see a problem with that? The supposedly best tag team in the world. And they're losing to Ricochet back-to-back weeks. Wow. Backstage, we see Anderson and Gallows arguing when AJ tells them to stop and get it together, reminding them they are the greatest tag team. AJ says a miracle can happen. If Ricochet wins the WWE title from Brock Lesnar, then AJ will be waiting for his title shot, so he can take the thing, and goes on and says WrestleMania is right around the corner and they will plant their flag on the top of the food chain. Aleister Black is off screen when AJ yells in his direction. He comes walking in. AJ yells, talks trash and threatens him. Anderson decks Black as he's about to speak or strike. Gallows joins in, and all three of them beat the hell out of Aleister Black before retreating, and he slowly gets up to his feet and stumbles away. So, of course, Aleister Black has a rematch from last week going up against Eric Rowan. So this gives Eric Rowan a little bit of an advantage going into the match. Would it help Eric Rowan beat Aleister Black? We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, out comes Paul Heyman and Brock. Sorry, I had to try that one time. Gets the grand introduction, does the same thing as usual, just talks about beating the hell out of Ricochet at Super Showdown, going to WrestleMania, beating Drew McIntyre and being WWE champion for the rest of his days, saying he's only been wrong about one spoiler in the last 7 years. Of course, that would be this past Royal Rumble, where he said Brock Lesnar was going to go from start to finish, going through all 29 other superstars, and that didn't happen. So they do the same spiel. Nothing. This promo did nothing. Brock Lesnar coming out, doing the same shtick. Paul Heyman coming out, doing the same shtick, did nothing. I would have been fine if they would have had Ricochet come out and probably get some revenge. They did mention that in this thing that Brock Lesnar hasn't forgot about the low blow that cost his time in the Rumble, and he's going to be looking for his receipt at Super Showdown. So, nice little tie back to that. They go to leave. They shoot. Then the announcers run away as he gets on the announce table to pose, and that is that. We see Aleister Black limping backstage in pain, and now it's Eric Rowan versus Aleister Black. Eric Rowan's out first. Aleister Black comes in next, and this match can be summed up like this. Eric Rowan is dominating majority of this match. Aleister Black comes back into it. Eric Rowan ends up flying in on the outside, ends up flying into the steel steps, knocking the birdcage over, whichever the fuck's in that thing. That it's covered up completely. Like, it flips over and it's upside down. So the cage, we don't know what's in the cage still, which I honestly don't think it's going to be anything, and it's just him talking to himself. But they fight a little bit more. Aleister Black gets powerbombed into the ring post, gets thrown back into the ring. Instead of Eric Rowan going in to beat Aleister Black, he goes over, gets his cage, puts it back on the stairs, talks to it a little bit, realizes, we're at a count of 8, gets back in at 9, black mass, 1, 2, 3, Aleister Black beats Eric Rowan. So, this match tells you that Eric Rowan is an idiot. Instead of going into the ring, winning the match, and then go get in the cage and picking it back up, he goes to get the cage, talks to it a little bit, allows Aleister Black to get back up, who, mind you, was beat up a little bit earlier in the show. So there's no way this guy's had a chance to, calm down and heal up a little bit. No. So they made, it was great to see the match. The match was fine last week. This match could have been fine, but they made Eric Rowan look like an absolute bum. That was so stupid. So Sarah Shriver's up top, and she's asking him, how did you overcome the odds? He says, unbridled rage. And my rage will be AJ Styles' burden next week. And he pretty much says, you might all think I'm talking cryptic, but let me lay it out like this. Next week, AJ Styles, me and you are gonna fight. And he walks away, and it has been confirmed for next week, AJ Styles versus Aleister Black. If it's one-on-one, OC gets thrown out, and it's just one-on-one, Aleister Black versus AJ Styles could be fantastic. That's a pay-per-view quality match right there. On free television, which, again, I'm not going to say they can't do that every once in a while, but this just seems like something they could put on, and they could put anywhere else but Raw, and it would be a hell of a match. Back from breaking the announcements, congratulate Tyson Fury on beating Deontay Wilder to win the WBC heavyweight title this past weekend. Whoop-de-fucking-do. He's going to be at WrestleMania, isn't he? Pre-recorded sit-down interview with Drew McIntyre and Charlotte Caruso. Says he doesn't care who wins at the Super Showdown, Brock Lesnar or Ricochet. It's irrelevant to him. He goes about his time in WWE going back. They said 13 years. Then the graphic popped up and it said 2009. That's not 13 years, Drew. That's 11. When is my math off or something? But isn't 2009 only 11 years ago? So I know he wasn't in the. I know the whole Chosen One thing started in. I thought it was 2009. I don't know. If it was 13 years ago, they had the graphic wrong. But yeah, when he was brought out as the Chosen One, it was pegged that he was going to be a future world champion. He was going to be the future. This guy was going to be... The guy was only 21 years old or something back in 2009 or 7, whenever he made his debut. He was nowhere close to being ready in the position that Vince McMahon was going to peg him as. Even Drew McIntyre would tell you that he wasn't ready at that time. Not winning any major titles since then, which... I'm sorry, what's the NXT Championship to you? I know when Bobby Roode won the NXT Championship, it was finally classified as a World Heavyweight Championship, but that wasn't a major championship. The Intercontinental title wasn't a major championship to you. I know it's a secondary title, but that's a big deal to a lot of people winning that title. It might not have the prestige as it had in the 80s and early 90s and maybe early 2000s, but the Intercontinental title is still a big deal to a lot of people. There's still a lot of guys who come into WWE, and if they're being told that, hey, you're winning the Intercontinental title, they're going to fucking take that as a fucking win. Yes, they want to be WWE champion. I mean, look at Braun Strowman. He won that title, and that emotion that you saw when he won that thing, that was real. That was absolutely real. But then, yes, he came back, won the NXT championship. Apparently, that's not a major championship to him. Give me a fucking break. The NXT championship is one of the best titles they have. He says he shows that he is a living proof that if you work hard and you can do whatever you want. He talks about eliminating Lesnar at the Rumble, even though he had mentioned nothing about Ricochet helping, because Ricochet did low blow Brock Lesnar. Charlie asks, what was he thinking? And Drew said he just knew he had to eliminate Lesnar. He talked more about Lesnar and said, once again, that he doesn't care who it's against. He will fulfill his destiny at WrestleMania. So it was not the best interview, but it wasn't the worst I've heard in a while. So it was. I like Drew McIntyre live mic in the ring on set. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Back in the answers, but they were interrupted by R-Truth, who's in the ring for the winter premiere of Truth TV. He introduces Bobby Lashley and Lana. And I got up, walked to the kitchen, to look to see if I could find some snacks. Because this is not something I really care about. Back from break, and Truth says he has a lot of questions for the power couple in the front. Lana says we're not here for a stupid talk show. And Truth has a match with Lashley. Truth does some more comedy and is stalling. The bell rings, Truth stalls some more, but Bobby Lashley is ready to go. He gets a big cheap shot, beats him down. One thing leads to another. We get a big Rusev Day chant, which, by the way, Rusev was supposed to be a super letdown on Thursday, but they pulled him and replaced him with Rey Mysterio. Rusev Day. One of the most over things that WWE has ever come out of creative. And yet, they still can't figure out how to book this guy. This dude is one of this Rusev Day chant. I can't wait till he leaves. I don't know what he's going to be called, because he's not going to be Rusev. Rusev is not his actual name. But the dude is over, and WWE just will not. I don't care what anyone says. Rusev Rusev was giving her all deal, and the dude is just good at what he does. Rusev Day's over, and WWE is about to lose one of the hottest acts that they had at one time, and they just won't let it happen. Lashley talks the truth on the floor, Lana talks trash, and here comes Lashley. Truth runs back in the ring. Lashley follows with Truth unloads, hits some of his trademark offense, and does the John Cena signatures with the 5-knuckle shuffle. Goes for the attitude adjustment, but Lashley blocks it. Truth kicks Lashley, but Lashley comes right back with the spear for the 1, 2, 3. And he wins this pointless, useless match. AJ Styles vs. Alistair Black was confirmed. Hall of Famer Jerry Lawler is in the ring with five of the women in the Elimination Chamber. Ruby Riott, Asuka, Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan, and then Natalya comes out. No sign of Shayna Baszler. King goes to talk. Asuka takes the mic, says, "We don't care, we don't care, we don't care." I agree. We do not fucking care. She wonders where's Shayna Baszler. Fans give her a what treatment because she's speaking as she does. Lawler says Baszler was in the arena, but either way, she no-showed. Either way, we're going to get this thing done. Boos come in. Lawler gives Logan to sign it first. The contract is passed to Liv. Natalya. She signs. Then Liv signs. She brings over the Ruby and just slams it on the table. Ruby shows some attitude and signs. Ruby stands up and stares Liv down. Natalya is also up. They all get back off and sit down. Asuka signs last, and the music hits, and out comes Shayna Baszler over the barrier from the crowd. Now, take that in consideration, how they signed this contract, because it was first Sarah Logan, then Natalya, then Liv Morgan, then Ruby Riott, then Asuka, then Shayna Baszler. That, to me, tells you how they're going to get eliminated. Sarah Logan's going to go first because she has no business being in there in the first place. She has no... I know you have the former members of the Riot Squad, but she hasn't been doing anything. Why isn't Kairi Sane in this match? Yes, congratulations to Kairi Sane. She got married over the weekend. She's probably still in Japan. But why is she there? Why is it not Kairi Sane? Is her contract up before the 8th? I don't know. But Sarah Logan, then Natalya, then Liv Morgan, then Ruby Riott, then Asuka, then Shayna Baszler. If they get eliminated in that order, there you go. Now, she signs the thing, she's looking around everybody, and then she gets over to Natalya, stares her down, they face off. Baszler just stares down Natalya. Jerry King Lawler realizes this is going to get bad, so he gets out of the ring immediately. Asuka comes over, throws Natalya on the mat, takes the mic, and yells and tells Baszler to bite her. So Asuka, who, by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, it's probably somewhere on YouTube. Viewer discretion advised. Do you think a little bite from Shayna Baszler is going to bother Asuka? Go find Connor versus Minoru Suzuki and see what Asuka what Asuka went through when that psychopath faced her in the ring. That shit, I don't get disturbed real easily. That was disturbing as fuck. So Natalya comes back up. She takes down Asuka. They fight. Nobody like Liv Morgan gets up, turns around the table, and leaps over the other table going into Ruby. They start brawling. Logan gets involved, pulling them apart. This is just a brawl. Baszler's sitting in the ring. She's just like, security's coming in. She's backing off. She's just clapping and laughing, having a good time, wiping the dust off her shoulders. Out comes Becky Lynch. Baszler's ready to fight. They tell Lynch to bring it. Becky hits the ring, and they start brawling. Fans boo when the officials rush in and break up. Fans can't let them fight. Baszler and Lynch keep breaking free to continue the brawl, and we go to commercial break. Now, this segment was, until this segment was just blah. Shayna Baszler came in, made it better. The Asuka, honestly, in my opinion, if you're going to make Shayna Baszler earn it going into WrestleMania, just make Asuka versus Shayna number one contendership in the Elimination Chamber. Because honestly, none of the other women have a fucking shot. If this match does not come down to Asuka and Shayna Baszler, and they go at it for 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes on their own, you're doing them a disservice. The two most dominant women in NXT's history should be your final two, and make this a match that where, yeah, we know Shayna Baszler's definitely winning, but make it also sure that, wow, there could be times in this match where we see that Asuka might just pull it out and Baszler wins in the end. And then Becky came out, and honestly, her brawl with Shayna Baszler looked terrible, and it brought the segment down from where it was at. It was like, it started low, it got high with her and with Becky, with Baszler and Asuka, and then it started going down, and then Becky came in and it just flatlined. It wasn't good. So again, there's two things that this show, this segment just proves me a lot further that I'm right about this. One, Charlotte had no business winning the Royal Rumble. No business whatsoever to win the Royal Rumble. And two, the end of this brawl with Becky and Shayna fighting made the match that they just had those 6 women signed for absolutely fucking pointless. I mean, predictable is not bad sometimes, but this is ridiculous. You're throwing Asuka and Shayna Baszler in there with 4 fucking bums to try and carry a goddamn match that we all know is going to go one fucking way, and that's Shayna Baszler. This is why Shayna Baszler should have won the Royal Rumble. You have 1,000 different ways. 1,000 different ways you could have had Charlotte, if Charlotte would have lost the Royal Rumble and got to Shayna Baszler goes for the Women's Championship on Raw. Bayley has her match at the Elimination Chamber. Well, you have the Women's match at Elimination Chamber. Charlotte can't go after the Women's Championship on SmackDown because she's a Raw superstar. But since NXT's on the USA Network, she wants to desperately have a championship match at WrestleMania. So when TakeOver Portland came around, you would have the match that you had. The match ends. Everything that happened at Portland between the 3 women that were there would have been fine. What you do is you have the match happen, and afterwards you have Charlotte attack her, and then you could set up from there to WrestleMania a match between those 2, if not those 3. Having Charlotte win the Royal Rumble did a disservice to the entire women's division. Baszler should have won the Rumble. You get that match. Charlotte has no fucking match at WrestleMania. So what is Charlotte going to do? She's going to take her WrestleMania plans into her own hands and go after the one title she hasn't held since 2015. The NXT Women's Championship. It was so simple. You could have had so much else happen. Shayna Baszler comes up the very next night and picks Becky Lynch. Or if they wanted to, they could have they could have waited for a bit and had her pick Becky Lynch after. But no, we knew she was going after Becky. Charlotte, pissed off, what they could have did with Charlotte was they could have been like, well, you know what, I can't go after the Raw Women's Championship, but maybe I'll find a tag team partner. And then realizing that everyone else on the Raw roster, besides Asuka and Kairi Sane, are bums, and they're not worthy of being the Queen's tag team partner. The only person on Raw who was worthy was Becky, and Becky has a match at WrestleMania. So what would she do? She would realize that, hey, I can't go to SmackDown because Raw superstars aren't allowed to be on SmackDown because they're Raw superstars and they're contracted to USA. But then NXT's on the USA Network too, and that's free reign. Charlotte can go there anytime she wants. So she shows up to TakeOver Portland. She shows up. She attacks Rhea Ripley right after the match. We don't see it coming. Why is Charlotte here? What is she doing? She grabs the Women's Championship and holds it up. And then drops it, walks away, does a little whatever, and then does everything else that she did. And then it's like, holy shit, is she coming to take over Tampa to take on Rhea Ripley? Then we fast forward to this coming last Wednesday or this Wednesday. Charlotte explains her actions, and she's like, Tampa's not good enough for me. I want the Women's Championship, the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania. I'm the queen. I can make it happen. And then you set the match up that way. Having this Elimination Chamber for the women on Raw is fucking pointless because you know it's going to be Shayna Baszler. And yes, Asuka and Shayna Baszler are the only two women in that match even fucking worthy. The Riot Squad, like, Ruby Riot is nowhere close to being built up. She has a thing with Liv Morgan. They're probably going to end up eliminating each other for somehow. Sarah Logan is just there to fill a spot. Asuka is a tag team champion. I don't know what they're doing with those. Those titles have become absolutely irrelevant. More than they ever have before, even though they're on TV every single week. Nobody's challenged for one. The only other tag team that we have right now is Fire and Desire. And the way that I think they're going with that is they're going to end up breaking them up because Otis is going to come in between Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. But anyway, so they had so many other ways to get to Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley to not screw things up. Women on SmackDown should be getting an Elimination Chamber. The SmackDown should have both Elimination Chambers. You don't have to have one for Raw and one for SmackDown. You could have Lacey Evans, Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, and Sasha Banks. There you go. And that's all you needed. Just that. The women's for SmackDown, the men's for SmackDown, because Raw won the Elimination Chamber and that person went for the WWE Championship. But no, what did Vince McMahon do? He did what he always does. Fucks things up. Gave Charlotte a Royal Rumble win that she did not fucking need this year. And now we have an Elimination Chamber that is absolutely fucking pointless. Until that Elimination Chamber gets down to hopefully Asuka and Shayna Baszler, the match is not going to fucking matter. And like, I guarantee you, until the match gets down to Shayna Baszler, which Shayna Baszler better be number 6. Asuka needs to be 5. Shayna Baszler needs to be 6. Those two come in last. And when Shayna Baszler comes in, I guarantee that crowd is going to be dead. If the first 4 women are Natalya and all 3 members of the Riot Squad, the crowd is not going to give a shit. But as soon as Asuka comes in, and as soon as Shayna Baszler comes in and eliminates everyone but each other, and it comes down to those two, the crowd is going to fucking go crazy. And hopefully we can get at least 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes between those two right there. But again, and I'll say it one more time, this is another fucking week where it just shows and proves that Charlotte should have never won the Royal Rumble this year. Plain and simple. They could have waited another year. If they wanted to, they could have waited another year. I know they had to put it on the back burner last year because Becky Lynch's star power was rising star, but they had a chance to make Shayna Baszler coming out of NXT. I know. I bragged and complained that they didn't have a reason to give Shayna Baszler the Women's Championship match going from NXT to Monday Night Raw. And yes, this is a way to do that. But again, it shows that she should have won the fucking Royal Rumble and Charlotte could have found many other fucking ways to get Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. But Vince McMahon doesn't fucking think. Convolute things instead of doing the quick, simple, easy route. Moving on here. Angle and Dawkins versus Murphy. This match didn't last long at all. Dawkins charges in and slams Murphy mid-air. And the move didn't even look like it was going to be the end of the match. Murphy gets pinned 1-2. Seth Rollins hits the stomp onto Dawkins' side. And it's like Murphy got hit with looked like was a messed up spear. Or a mini pounce, which Dawkins I don't think has ever won a match that way. And it didn't even look like Murphy was out, but Seth Rollins comes in and stomps him to get the DQ. Montez Ford hits the ring to make the save. Takes the mic and says Dawkins hit Murphy so hard last week that they took his first name away. I don't know why that popped me for a minute, but it did. Ford taunts Rollins on the mic and threatens the Messiah. Rollins takes off his shirt, his jacket on the stage and runs to the ring, and we have Montez Ford versus Seth Rollins. This was a good match. Montez Ford could be the next big star. Because eventually they're going to break up the Street Profits. That's Vince McMahon's MO. He breaks up tag teams, and Angelo Dawkins is going to be the one who turns on Montez Ford. It's going to happen probably by the end of this year. Because Vince McMahon doesn't like tag teams like the New Day. I'm surprised. The Usos, I would love to see the Usos feud, Jimmy versus Jay. I think that would be fantastic. because they're brothers, and I'm pretty sure they could go out there and give you some fantastic matches, but I don't think they want to break up the Usos, even though you could have them have a feud with each other for a couple months, and then when it's all said and done, shake hands, hey, we were brothers, we fight and everything. I mean, Matt and Jeff have had multiple feuds over the years. None of them worked really well because Matt and Jeff Hardy one-on-one just hadn't worked well. But when they're done feuding, they get back together. You can do the same thing with the Usos. Anyway, they're going to end up breaking these guys up. Ford's going to be the babyface. Dawkins is going to be heel. Dawkins is going to turn on him, whatever the hell it is. And then Ford should be the next big star. Ford should be the one winning the 2021 Royal Rumble. I'm just saying. But this is WWE. This is Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon will not see Montez Ford as anything other than a mid-card act who will not let him be put over and will never give this guy a championship opportunity. He fought this guy so fucking hard, came so close, looked like he was going to win. Frog splash, Rollins moves, stomp, 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins beats Montez Ford. And that was that. Fantastic looking, like Montez Ford looked great. Definitely somebody, if pushed if they break him up, say around SummerSlam, they can have their feud going into Hell in a Cell. And then Montez Ford could go and be built up and win the Royal Rumble going to WrestleMania next year, winning the match at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship against whoever the hell it is, not named Brock Lesnar, and boom, you got a new star. But this is WWE, and this is Vince McMahon, and he's not a guy. He's not a big muscular dude. He's a tall, thin, lanky dude. Vince McMahon will never put Montez Ford over as a big star. He's going to be either in a tag team division or a mid card to lower card act on his own, and it sucks. I just want to warn people. I'm a fan of Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, but when they do break him up, Ford looks like he should be the guy getting the rub, but it's not going to happen, and this guy is going to fall down, 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 down. And there's nothing we can do about it as fans. But back from break, the announcers hype Charlotte Flair versus NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. We get a package of Ripley's dominance, and then we go into our main event. I talked about this earlier, the fact that this was a good match. It started off with just one-on-one Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. And before we get to the commercial break, Messiah, Seth Rollins, and his disciples all come out. And one thing leads to another. They're having the match. Looks like we're going to have the disciples and everyone come out and come up and beat the hell out of him. But out comes the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. They beat and take out the AOP and Buddy Murphy as they all just go to the back. Seth Rollins is left. Looks like he's going to get involved. Rollins tries to interfere again, but Owens kicks him back into the barrier. Orton takes advantage of the distraction and drops Owens with a DDT. Orton goes for the pin, and then you see 1, 2, 3, ding, 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 match over. What the fuck? And then you look. That's not a real WWE referee. That's not a referee at all. Who the fuck is this guy? After the bell, Orton stares at the referee confused. His music plays. The referee goes out to check on Rollins, and you knew immediately that this was a hired gun by Seth Rollins. He's sitting there, he's like, "Are you okay, sir? Are you okay, sir? Sir, are you okay?" Orton stands over Owens, looks down. Rollins slides in 2 steel chairs, tells Orton he knows what he wants to do. Fans chant Randy sucks. Now Orton ends up grabbing a chair and facing off with Orton as Owens gets up, who was on the ground with the chair under his face. Referee yanks the chair from Owens as Orton drops his chair and leaves the ring. Rollins and this fake referee try to run away, but Owens catches the fake referee, takes him in. He grabs him. You see, he pulls his shirt forward. He's looking down, and he's like, "Oh, I see what the fuck's going on here." Throws him in the ring, rips the shirt, and you see the Monday Night Messiah shirt. Rollins is surprised and says he has nothing to do with this. He has no idea. Tom says the referee is one of Rollins' disciples. Rollins does a fit from the stage and says that is a good man, a good referee. Owens drops the referee, this bomb with a stunner. Rollins continues yelling as Owens comes from the stage, goes under the ring, and brings a table in the fans cheer him on. Powerbomb this kid through the table. And that was that as his final Raw before the Super Showdown goes off the air. This finish was absolutely stupid. Should we have seen it coming? Yes, this is WWE. Vince McMahon loves his screw jobs. Was it necessary? No. But it's what they do. Monday Night Raw was good to start with that promo. Eric Rowan versus Aleister Black was sustainable until the finish, which was fucking stupid. Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza never disappoint. Just like that match next week, that tag team match is going to be fucking awesome, probably. AJ Styles versus Aleister Black next week will also be awesome. But the rest of the show was just bleh. The 6-woman contract signing did not need to happen, and I never want to see a contract signing unless it's 1-on-1. That is all I'm going to say about that. But I'm getting out of here. You hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Follow me on Twitter at The France Club. Follow me on Facebook, twitch.tv/The France Club. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for XFL Week 3 analysis and my thoughts on the 4 games we saw from Saturday, the 2 great games, to the 2 games on Sunday and the blowouts. And what I'm liking about the XFL so far. But until then, my name is France, and I'll see you guys later.